welcome back to Rams Up, your favorite LA Rams podcast. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network. You can follow us on our YouTube channel as well, at LA Rams Up. I'm your host, Mark. I'll be joined occasionally by my football gurus, Paul and Ian. Let's get to it. What's going on, everybody? Episode 584 of Rams Up. We're going to get into one of my favorite segments. Hope it's yours too. Who's pumped, who's pissed, and who's perplexed, taking the pulse of fan bases across the country. We'll get into snap counts and Pro Football Focus grades and some other stuff. But first, it is episode 584. Episode 484, might have been 384. We talked about the preeminent number 84 for the Los Angeles Rams, Jack Snow. This episode, we're going to talk about another wide receiver who wore number 84, Aaron Cox, 5'9", 174 pounds, out of Dorsey High in Los Angeles and Arizona State. Rams picked him with the 20th overall pick in the first round of the 1988 draft, played 5 years for the Rams, played alongside Flipper Anderson and Henry Allard, among others. Jim Everett was his quarterback. Never really lived up to the expectations for a 20th overall pick, but he was an okay receiver. Finished his 5-year career with the Rams, 102 catches, 1,732 yards, and 8 touchdowns. Played out his career 1 season with the Colts. Aaron Cox, our number 84 for the Los Angeles Rams. Some snap counts of note from that Patriots game. Entire offensive line played all 52 snaps. Only 52 snaps. They were not out there as much as the Patriots, that's for sure. Kyren got 42 snaps. Blake Corum got the remaining 10 at running back, and that's his highest percentage of the year, 19%. And the tight end snaps went like this: 34, 19, and 18 for Allen, Parkinson, and Long, respectively. Tutu Atwell and Tyler Johnson, 7 snaps apiece. Xavier Smith, Jordan Whittington did not get an offensive snap. On defense, Quentin Lake, Cam Curl, and Darius Williams did not miss any of the 76 snaps. That's right, the Patriots had 24 more offensive snaps than the Rams. So Cam Curl appears to be 100%. Jared Verse missed just 12 snaps. Surprisingly, Witherspoon had 44 snaps as the number 2 corner. His numbers have really fluctuated. Kobe Durant had 41 snaps. Omar Spates out there for more than half the snaps. Good to see. And Tyler Davis outsnapped Bobby Brown. Davis 41%, Brown 36%. And Jonah Williams got out there a little bit, 17% of the snaps. And Cam Kinchins outsnapping Jalen McCullough, so maybe he has rebounded, at least in the eyes of Chris Shula and the other coaches. A bunch of Rams graded out well. Puka Nacua and Cam Kinchins, both career highs, 92.6. So, hey, if we're taking these numbers as the truth, Cam Kinchins maybe is okay. Maybe he's going to be okay. We were concerned about his play early in the year. Colby Parkinson, 86.4. Kevin Dotson, Alaric Jackson, both in the 80s, and Matthew Stafford, Bo Limmer, Michael Hoyt, Bobby Brown, Braden Fisk, Kobe Turner, and Cooper Kupp, all in the mid-70s or higher. Hey, we haven't done this in a while. I'm going to share another segment of who's pumped, who's pissed, who's perplexed, taking the pulse of fan bases around the country. Well, I'm pretending to take their pulse. I'm kind of making stuff up, actually, but it's all for fun. And man, there's a lot of teams to talk about. Let's talk about the fan bases that are pumped first, and 2 of them are in the NFC West. You know, the Seattle Seahawks have to be pumped. After that dreadful, painful loss to the Rams in overtime, they stew for a week through their bye. Then they have to travel to San Francisco. And expectations are their season is going to be over after getting drubbed by the 49ers. And what do? They pull off the comeback, a comeback of their own. Man, does that make you feel better after what happened against the Rams? And suddenly they're right back in the thick of things. Geno Smith running for the late score in the win. The Seattle Seahawks fan base, the 12th man, is pumped. And the Arizona Cardinals fan base has to be pumped. They are looking like a real Super Bowl contender. Not quite going there yet for me, but they are definitely a top 10 team, just obliterating opponents at this point. Now, they'll have a big test. These two teams play each other. Seattle and Arizona. It's going to go a long way to deciding which team is the front runner for the NFC West, along with the Rams. And you know what? They're all front runners at this point. It's up for grabs. This game will be very meaningful, though. And the Detroit Lions fan base, man, how can you not be pumped? They are looking like the greatest show on turf at times. They come back and beat the Texans last week, and then this week, the Jags come into town and they just destroy them. 52-6. I think their first 7 possessions ended in touchdowns. So yeah, they are pumped. And you know who else is pumped? Another fan base that has to be pumped right now, the Denver Broncos fan base. They improved to 6-5 with a win over the Falcons. And what they're most pumped about, not only being a threat for a playoff spot at this point, but Bo Nix. Look at those numbers, 28 for 33, 307 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And, you know, there's a lot of quarterbacks that are making their mark right now. Drake May, we'll talk about him in a minute. C.J. Stroud, Jaden Daniels, and I think Caleb Williams, his time will come. Kind of forgetting about Bo Nix. He may be a good one as well. And the Steelers fan base has to be pumped. And I didn't see this coming, and I still can't explain it. I heard one commentator saying that the Steelers are the team to beat in the AFC. I'm still not going there, but hey, respect for what they've done, taking care of the Ravens. So the Steelers fan base is thrilled right now, and the Buffalo Bills fan base is pumped, taking care of the Chiefs, and they're, in my opinion, they're the front runner in the AFC. Now there's some discussion about that. I know I may be in the minority putting them above the Chiefs and the Steelers at this point, but I think they are the most complete team right now, offense and defense, and their fan base has to be pumped. Although they also have to pump the brakes on that a little bit because they have to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. Can they do it? Josh Allen has never done it. Maybe they don't meet. Maybe one of them goes through the Steelers first and gets knocked out. We'll have to see. But for now, they are pumped. And you know what? If I'm a fan of the New England Patriots, which I am not and never will be, I'd be pumped even after that loss. I'd be pumped about what I'm seeing with Drake May right now. They may have landed another great quarterback, and he's the type of quarterback I like. Can stand in the pocket, big arm, dissect defenses, and run a little bit too. You know, I was going to compare him to Matthew Stafford, but he's actually more athletic. He's a little bit of a gunslinger. So Patriots fans have to be pumped. We will pick this back up in a second after this short break. And we also have some power rankings coming up. And who is pissed? Well, the 49er fan base has to be pissed. I mean, the thing about 49er fans is they just expect their team to win. They expect them to be elite, especially over the last few years. And it's just not happening right now. I know they've been banged up, but that defense is not playing well, not to their standards. Brock Purdy is not playing to their standards. Jake Moody has been a disappointment. Deebo Samuel, to me, looks a little heavy and slow. Am I seeing things? That's what he looks like to me. Christian McCaffrey can't get it done by himself. Kittle was out, so maybe that's a big part of it, but still 5-5 at this point, and technically in last place in the NFC West. Yeah, they're pissed. And I think New Orleans Saints fans are pissed because maybe they should have made this change earlier. They win their first 2, go on this horrible losing streak, fire their coach, and now they're back on the winning track 2 straight. They're pissed because they didn't make the change earlier. And the Cincinnati Bengals fan base is pissed because they have to be better than this. And I really think they're one of the better teams in the AFC. At least it seems like they should be, but they just cannot get it done. They fall to 4-7. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase just tearing it up. It's not good enough. You put up that many points against the Chargers, you should win the game. What a great comeback. All to naught. Bengals fans are pissed because they see this window just slipping by, performing to the standards that you would expect, but the results are not there. And Jacksonville Jags fans have to be pissed. I mean, if you see your team get drubbed like that, I don't care who the opponent is, you're going to be pissed. And that's another coach that's on the way out, I think. And who's pissed, probably more pissed than anyone, is the New York Jets fan base. What is happening there? They lose to the Colts late. They've got Aaron Rodgers. They've got Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall. They bring in Devontae Adams, supposed to have this really good defense, and they're 3-8. And do I even need to include the Cowboys fan base? I guess they're pissed. Watching that game with the Texans, pretty solemn crowd, at least the ones that were rooting for the Cowboys. A lot of really happy Texan fans in that stadium. Cowboys fans are definitely pissed, trying to figure things out. I mean, they're pissed, they're perplexed, they are embarrassed. Some changes coming in Dallas, I suspect. And there's a few fan bases that are perplexed. One is the Bears. They have to just be confused, their fans there. What the heck is going on with the coaching staff and with Caleb Williams? They performed admirably against the Packers. Didn't get the result they wanted, but that was okay. Playing a good team there, but still very confused circumstances there in Chicago. Firing the offensive coordinator, probably not the full answer there. And the Atlanta Falcons spinning their wheels there. Easiest schedule in the league. They're 6-5. On top of the NFC South, get drubbed by the Broncos, cannot really create any separation with some teams coming hard at them. The Buccaneers and the Saints are not out of it. Bucks 4-6, the Saints 4-7. Yeah, I saw people elevating the Falcons into their top 10, top 12. Based on the record, I'm sorry, I don't see it. This team has some real chinks in their armor and may end up not even winning their division. So their fan base has to be perplexed. And the Chiefs fan base has to be perplexed. Kind of saw this loss coming. Someone compared the Chiefs to last year's Eagles, and I kind of see it. A team that just wins and wins and wins, but you feel like something's not quite right. And last year the Eagles fell apart. I don't think the Chiefs are going to fall apart, but their fan base has to be a little bit perplexed. And the Ravens fan base, man, they have to expect to go into Pittsburgh and win that game. What a rivalry those two teams have. But the Ravens not getting it done against the Steelers, and suddenly 1.5 games behind the Steelers in the AFC North. Now they play again on that Saturday in December. That'll be a big game. The Ravens got to get back in the win column. They have the Chargers and Eagles up next. Meanwhile, the Steelers, 2 of their next 3 games against the Browns. I'm going to try to get back to the YouTube channel later this week and share my updated power rankings. But you know what? Just in case, I'm going to give you a rundown right now. And I'm really happy with my power rankings, especially at the top there, because the power rankings that I'm reading online are actually gravitating towards what I already had. Patting myself on the back here. My top 4 teams remain unchanged. Lions at the top, followed by the Bills. They beat the Chiefs, my number 3 team, and the Eagles, number 4. And I think those 4 teams right now are clearly the cream of the crop, and Steeler fans are probably going to be upset, but I'm holding back on the Steelers a little bit right now. I'll get to them in a second. My number 5 team, the Vikings, bouncing back from that 2-game losing streak. Number 6, the Arizona Cardinals. That's right. They are looking really dynamic right now. And they are followed by the Houston Texans, who, at 7-4, they stumbled a little bit, but I still think they are a very dangerous team. Number 8, the Pittsburgh Steelers, followed by number 9, the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens dropping 4 spots. Now, they did lose on the road, and we should temper our judgment of the Ravens with that fact. Going to play a divisional opponent on the road, it was a close game. Steelers came out on top. We'll see what happens when they play in Baltimore. And my number 10 team, the LA Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers, getting it done in a high-scoring game for once. So give them credit for that, beating a very dangerous Bengals team and dropping 5 spots. I was tempted to put them in the green room, but I still think they're a team that has a lot of potential. Let's put it that way. That's the San Francisco 49ers. On the one hand, if they get everybody going, very dangerous team. But on the other hand, no Brandon Ayuk. George Kittle always banged up. Deebo Samuel seems slow to me. Samuel, the wide receiver / running back, averaging 2.7 yards per carry this season. And Boza, perhaps their best defensive player, is hurt again. Defense, good, but not great. So I'm not sure about these 49ers. We'll give them one more week. They go to play Green Bay. So that'll tell us a lot. Maybe Green Bay will jump up into the top 12 again, bump out the 49ers. Yeah, I'm not completely sold on the Packers yet. And, maybe they should be a little bit higher. But I have the 49ers at 11, the Commanders at 12, and the Packers at the top of the green room, along with the Falcons, the Broncos, the Bengals, and the Dolphins. Broncos, a team on the rise, too. Bengals on their way down. And I also have in the green room, if I'm going to have the 49ers at 11, then I'm going to put the Rams in the green room along with the Seahawks. So I got a crowded green room right now, a bunch of teams trying to squirm their way into the top 12. The Packers, Falcons, Rams, Broncos, Bengals, Dolphins, and Seahawks. I think the Bengals are going to start sliding though. Yeah, 4-7, but they are a good team, dangerous team, not counting them out just yet. No new teams in the kiss it goodbye category yet. Got a bunch in that group already. And actually, after talking about the top 12, and we got, 7 teams in the green room and a bunch of teams we've already counted out, there's only 3 teams left unaccounted for. That's the Bears, Bucks, and Colts. Season's not quite over yet. Got to start winning to make things happen. We'll be back Wednesday night with a roundtable. Make sure you jump on the YouTube channel. Ian has some really good film studies, orchestrated Rams. You'll learn a little bit and enjoy it a lot, I promise you. That's going to do it for this episode. Remember, you can reach us at ramsuppodcast@gmail.com. And don't forget about our YouTube channel. Our handle is at laramsup.com. Till next time, keep the horns up, stay safe, and have fun out there.